think this is episode 17.
Yes, and welcome to a new format, because we're not going live anymore. We're going to be recording it, and we're going to try and make it a little bit more fun and jazz it up a bit.
Sounds good.
After last week's little technical difficulties, this seemed an easy way to go.
Which probably happened mostly behind the scenes, but yes, we had a few technical difficulties last week, but ended up going ahead about half an hour late on Zoom.
Yes, and apparently it worked out, and that was great. So we're going to record it via Zoom, and we can do different things via Zoom, which make me look pretty or prettier, depending on your definition.
There we go. That's what we need.
Okay, so I can do all sorts of things. Oh, that's going to be good for our Christmas one.
There we go.
Okay, so like we're going to have some fun. Okay, so this is what I mean. We're going to jazz it up. I can change the background, make us look like we're in a 1950s.
Sepia.
TV.
That's
Yeah.
right, exactly. Because everybody knows that history was in black and white.
Yes, there you go. There was no color.
No, you can see that when they do movies, and they always do it. They do is look at the historical scene. It always goes into black and white. So clearly that's how it was.
Because that's what it was like. Think of this
Exactly.
now as like the Wizard of Oz. We're now in Oz.
That's right. It's been a long time since I've seen that. So I've got a bit of an announcement to make.
Woohoo!
Now, so Mike Buchanan. Mike Buchanan made the announcement in the UK a couple of days ago now. So myself and the other members of the ICMI organising team have discussed the various plans for the next few years of ICMI. We gave Mike the thumbs up, and he's gone and published it on the Justice for Men and Boys website. And I've updated Wiki for Men, so I can tell you where the ICMIs are going to be over the next few years. So ICMI 21 is going to be virtual, no great surprise there. It takes quite a long time to plan a face-to-face ICMI. So with the pandemic still going on, this one will be online. But in 2022, we will be in Canada, which is very exciting. I haven't been back to Canada for about a decade. There are a few different cities are being discussed there. Won't be mentioning any city names. Hopefully in the near future, we'll be able to make an announcement on that. 2023, ICMI will be going to India for the first time. So that's going to be very exciting. Looking forward to going to India, which I've never been to India. Then 2024, ICMI is coming back to Australia. The last Australian ICMI was 2017 on the Gold Coast. The 2020 was originally going to be in Sydney, but was cancelled because of everybody's favourite virus. 2024 will be in Sydney. So we'll be picking up some of the, we already had some plans in progress, and we're going to be able to pick those up. We're at this stage planning to use the same venue that we were going to use in 2020 and so forth. So it's going to be, we're going to be able to pick up what we've got, run with that. And we've, of course, got plenty of time to get ourselves prepared. And so 2024, put that in your calendar. Most likely, I will say this, it's going to be sometime in May to August, ICMI 2024 in Sydney. Probably May. Now, do not book flights, do not book accommodation until you hear the final dates. But it's likely to be May in 2024. And in regards to India, the information we've got from them, again, do not book anything, but the information we have is probably February 2023 in India. So that's why I'm thinking probably May in 2024, that's the low season here. So it makes it cheaper for people coming from overseas. 2025 will be in Europe, country to be announced. So we still don't even know what country it'll be in. I think that, hopefully I'm not talking out of turn, But I think that 2025, the plan is that it will not be the UK, because there've already been 2 ICMIs in the UK, and I believe what they're planning over there is to try to put an ICMI together in another European country. Because remember, even though the UK is not in the European Union anymore, it's still in Europe. So North America, 2026. That will be in the United States. And we do actually have some tentative plans even beyond that, but that's probably enough to mention. And that's certainly what we will decide on. Yeah. So there you go. That takes us up for this for the next 5 years.
Well, I'm going to back you up when you say do not make any plans. Do not book any flights.
That's right.
It's not even that the dates haven't even been booked in yet, but I'm in Melbourne and we want to go on a girls' trip to Phillip Island. We're going to want to do it over a weekend and go and see my sister's new bistro. And Annery, it's a French bistro, only new, go see it, food's fabulous, blah, 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 blah. But we want to do this in July because of the new lockdown. It's another month away, but it's still tentative. So even,
for those who don't know, Melbourne is not only the SJW capital of Australia, it's also the lockdown capital of Australia.
If COVID's going to run rampant in any state, it's going to be here in Victoria.
Yeah. So speaking of Phillip Island, for those who haven't been, whether you're Australian or from overseas, if you're visiting Melbourne, try to find the time to go out to Phillip Island. Absolutely fabulous. A whole bunch of really interesting stuff out there. But the thing that I really love is the Penguin Parade.
You got the Penguin Parade. If you're into this, yeah, let's face it, most blokes are. You got the Grand Prix track.
Yep.
You got beaches, just beautiful down there.
Absolutely. So the Penguin Parade is different every night. The penguins, what they used to call the fairy penguins, they now call them the little penguins. They're the smallest penguin species in the world, and they come up on the shore in that area. They're not only Phillip Island, but other parts as well. But Phillip Island, they're all set up with it for the parade, and they scurry across the beach while hundreds of people sitting there quietly watching. It's absolutely fabulous, and every night is different because it's just a bunch of penguins coming up doing their thing. And you can then go. There are even places on the island where you can see the rookeries and so forth. Absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, no, definitely visit Phillip Island. Definitely go to this little French bistro in Cowes. It's run by this fabulous girl. It's only new, French food. There's a French chef. Yeah, great coffee. It's called Annery. I'll put a little thing up. But yeah, it's Phillip Island's one of those places to go. That's got nothing to do with what we're talking about tonight. But I've got to plug in my sister because she's my sister.
Fair enough.
Okay, so we're going to actually talk about what we're here to talk about.
Right. So that's ICMI. That's the future of ICMI. I'll be organising ICMI 24. Starting to collect names for volunteers. Natalie here has kindly volunteered, so she'll be involved. Getting a few other names as well. As I said, we will be preparing this over a number of years and having a fantastic event in Sydney in 2024. And I said I will be visiting some of the others overseas as well, because I'm sure the world will be much freer by then, hopefully.
Yes, well, we're hoping even by next year we're going to be free, hopefully.
Exactly, that's right. Actually at the moment Australians need permission to leave the country, but that's hopefully ending in the near future.
And it's got to be like a good reason why you're leaving the country. It's got to not be like because I go into Disneyland.
Yeah, exactly. Cool as that would be, it's not an acceptable reason.
Bloody Rona.
So the other thing we were going to talk about is affirmative consent, and we've talked about this before.
Yes, but
something has happened.
Yeah.
Something has happened since we last spoke. So the New South Wales government is passing affirmative consent laws. Now they have explicitly said that. I found it almost quite chilling to see the Attorney General of New South Wales standing there, I think it was the Attorney General, talking and using the words affirmative consent. Now there's a bit of an interesting debate going on, a few interesting claims going around. Not surprisingly, feminists are misrepresenting things. I'm really shocked because that never happens at all. Feminists have been claiming that a number of jurisdictions already have affirmative consent. I don't believe that's true. So they've in particular claimed the Australian states of Victoria and Tasmania have affirmative consent. And they're saying, well, it's not a big deal with New South Wales getting it because Tasmania and Victoria have already got it, for example. I don't think that's actually true. I've spent quite a bit of time poring over the laws and so forth. Tasmania and Victoria, in my view, have stopped short of affirmative consent, very close to it, but I think they really have stopped short. I believe that New South Wales may be the first jurisdiction in the world that's genuinely going for affirmative consent. And so other jurisdictions that people have claimed have gone affirmative consent include Sweden and California. Now, California was only suggested to be recently. I haven't had an opportunity to research it. Again, I don't think anybody's gone there yet, but I'll be researching that in California. Sweden, again, I think has come close. It hasn't quite crossed the line. And also too, interestingly enough, in Sweden, Swedish prosecutors are seeming to be a bit reluctant to use the strength of the new laws they have. So while there's been a 75% increase in rape convictions in Sweden since the passage of the new laws, this appears to be somewhat constrained by the prosecutors who seem to be actually holding the reins a little bit. And apparently also the appeals court in Sweden has been taking a sort of fairly broad view of this and reversing some of the decisions. But I'm going to make the point that even if you've got prosecutors that are not abusing these rules, and even if you've got appeals courts that are reversing them, none of that excuses allowing these sorts of laws to be passed. And in case people aren't clear, affirmative consent is yes means yes. So no means no, very 90s. That's gone. I think most Westerners, most people in Western countries would agree that no means no is a perfectly reasonable position to take. But nope, that's gone. Yes means yes now. And you just watch our earlier video where we talk about some of the problems with that. But anyway, New South Wales, I think, is going to be the first genuinely affirmative consent jurisdiction in the world. And it's extremely concerning, in my view. And I think that men should be very cautious about having sex with women in affirmative consent jurisdictions. If it was me, I wouldn't, in all honesty. I think it's that bad. I really do think it's that bad. I think that you could potentially, when a man does that, I think the woman could come back to him a year, a decade later, decades later, and have him convicted.
It's hard for single people just to connect nowadays, because this is going to be the thought process going on in the back of their heads.
Yes.
So it's going to be, if I ask this woman to, we're getting along, we've gone out a couple of times, we've kissed, we've fooled around a little bit, I want to take the next steps in where this is heading. Let's just say, that's a progressive part of, any type of forwarding relationship. I won't bring into one night stands or anything like that, but just a proper courtship. It used to be, and I'm going to say in my day, and my son's going to have a good laugh at that, and I said this last time, if I don't want to have sex with somebody, I'll say no. And I'll push them off. Now, we're building up our girls in this stance, you're equal to men, you're just as good as them, and that's fantastic. On the other hand, here we're bringing them down and victimizing them, saying, you don't have a voice. You can't say no. You can say no. You do have a voice. You are strong enough. I don't mean this as victim blaming. I'm truly saying, if you do not want to have sex with somebody, say no.
That's right.
Do not expect them to read body language. Do not expect them to do this. You are strong enough. You have the ability to say it. Say no. If it goes beyond that no, that's when you're heading into danger. That's when the male is heading into dangerous territory.
Yeah.
And if it obviously goes further than that, that's when it's rape. But not when you say yes, and then your body language changes, because I don't know about anybody else. I might be some type of freak, but if I'm about to get busy with it, the last thing I'm thinking about is body language. Where, oh God, this is going to sound horrible. Sex is fantastic. We all love sex. But you're going to take the enjoyment out of sex for men if they're so busy concentrating on the body language of, I've got to read the body language because it might turn to no. So you're taking the fun out of it from the man, and you're also taking the fun out of it for yourselves, because he's going to be like, can I touch here? Is this like...
Many women have complained about men doing that in recent years, actually.
Yeah. Sex should just go with the flow. And if it goes, you say no if it's uncomfortable. But it should not be up to a male or female to read a body language to stop an act.
Yep, that's right.
Male or female, if it's going in a direction that you don't want it to go, say no.
That's right. Yes.
And it's not this no means no. We're not talking about what you mentioned earlier. We're literally talking about women having the ability and having the choice and having the balls, wrong choice of words, to say no, because you are not a victim.
Yeah.
You are strong, independent, beautiful people. You can say no and not worry about the repercussions, because trust me, the man is more fearful of you saying no 10 years down the track than you saying no during the process. He has met 99.9% of men, just like 99.9% of women, are going to listen to you and stop when you say no. They might try and go, come on, honey, yeah, but yeah, shit, women do it too.
And that's that brings up a point too, that's even saying something like that, oh come on, or anything like that is now potentially considered to be coercion if men are doing it. And so I think that'll be something we won't be seeing a lot more from men in the future. So if women were expecting that, they will be surprised that men won't be going there anymore, because a lot of men are getting put in.
Men just okay, you said no, cuts off, and
that's right. But I think also what's going to happen too is more likely a lot of men are just going to not even try. And I think that's what we're already seeing, to be honest. That the number of young men who have not had sex is now significantly higher, something like 3 times the number of young women. So it's a lot of men are just not engaging in that sort of
but even older men,
romantic
I don't think
relationships.
There's going to be, I think there's going to be this high population over the next 10 years of a lot of single people, I'm not going to say they're miserable because they're single, but we're not going to be connecting with other human beings over
Most people
this
want,
fear of consent.
yeah, most people enjoy the companionship of a relationship. That's right. This is the
Yeah.
general trend for humans. And I always say that where each of us is the end result of 1 billion years of sexual reproduction. Our ancestors, whether they be human or pre-human or whatever, they reproduced, and that's been going on for 1 billion years. That's a strong driver towards certain behaviors. So it's natural for people to want to pair bond and have a family and have kids, and all that is under attack now.
I've got a feeling we're losing the passion, like that. Think of romantic comedies where, the guy grabs the girl in the rain and kisses her deeply, and her leg kicks up in the air, and they go back and they root like bunnies. There's going to be no more of that. It's going to be.
Oh no, there won't be in movies.
It's going to
either.
be like. I actually only saw a couple of weeks ago, but like Soylent Green, where you have to sort of, they had these living girlfriends that belonged to this, the rich had lived in
the movie
apartments.
Who in the movie, I believe, are called furniture.
Yeah, but they weren't prostitutes. They were prostitutes, but they weren't prostitutes. They were girlfriends that came with the apartment.
That's right. They were prostitutes, but they weren't prostitutes in the sense that we understand that term.
Yeah.
That's right. Whatever rich man had the apartment, had the girl, basically.
Had the girl that came with that apartment. And that's
right.
what I feel like that's what it's becoming, is like it's going to be, sex is going to be this contract instead of what sex is, and it's passion.
I think we will see things turn around. Unfortunately, it's going to take quite a while to unwind this from a social and legal point of view. I do believe that we will see things turn around. If we don't, then I think Western civilization is probably nearly done. I think any society that rejects the family in the manner that Western civilization is doing, I believe, will fall to societies that do not reject the family. There's plenty of evidence the family unit has been the basis of the rise of our species. And if you reject that, if you're a civilization that rejects that, then I think that's pretty much done. In fact, I can't think of any other civilization that's really rejected the family. Not even the Spartans did, and they used to have the boys off it in college, in academies at 7. But even they didn't reject the family. They still got the men and women married and had the kids and so forth in a family unit. And our society is actually rejecting the family.
You're actually gonna want that arranged marriage, just so you can have companionship.
We might end up there, the way we're going.
I'm going to be 6 years of age going, please, somebody arrange a marriage for me so I can have companionship. Because exactly. No man's going to want to touch a single woman.
It's becoming extremely dangerous for men to approach women, to talk to them, to certainly to try to initiate any romantic involvement. It's all becoming a minefield, and a growing number of men are just saying it's just too hard, especially when we live in an era when there's more distractions than have ever been before too. So it's something of a perfect storm. And they talk about men going and young men are often criticised for getting too involved in computer games and whatnot. It's an entirely rational response to what's happening around them. I don't blame them at all. I think in the long term it won't help them or the rest of society, but I don't blame them. I think it makes perfect sense.
I just feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for men. I feel sorry for everybody being in a situation where you crave for a relationship that's got companionship, and you get along and you love each other and you can talk and you can have conversations with, and somebody to hold you when you're sad, and somebody to laugh with you when you're happy, and all these great things. But part of a relationship is sex and is passion.
Yeah.
And you're taking away something that is a beautiful part of a relationship. As dirty as you want to make it, that's up to you. But it's still a beautiful part of a relationship. And you're just taking that away. So have we done 15 minutes? Because I don't know.
I think we probably have. Before we go, I just wanted to mention a few YouTubers that, Australian YouTubers that people may not have heard of.
Yep.
As I often spend time working on Wiki for Men, and I did articles for all of them recently. So we've got Bane666AU, usually just called Bane or Bane666. Interesting YouTuber. He appears as a skull in a picture of blood, I think, which is a really interesting way to appear on the video graphic. But got some great stuff to say. Bearing, who appears as a cartoon bear. His videos are generally laced with profanity, so be ready for that if you're going in there. Gary Awesome, another great Australian YouTuber. Had the pleasure of meeting. I've spoken to Gary online, and over the phone, but had the pleasure of meeting Gary at ICMI 17. Gary does some very, very funny videos too. So he's a bit of a singer too. So he's done some songs there. Independent Man, again, had an opportunity to meet Independent Man at ICMI 17. And the final one is Sugar Tits, who has I love that name, who has appears as a female bear, very similar to Bearing, same sort of design. And there's 5, I just want to mention those 5 Aussie YouTubers. They're fairly well known in the anti-feminist community and in men's rights. Probably overall, some of them don't have huge numbers of followers, and I think maybe it'd be great if they had more. So worth checking out. Yeah,
because we don't have a lot of followers. We'd like more, but I think if we all share each other's content, then we can get a lot further away.
That's right.
So what I might do is I'll try and get their logos and put it up in our videos, but I'll also send links in the YouTube clip that'll be below.
Yes, absolutely. Great. Well, thank you, Nat.
Okay.
Another fabulous episode.
First recorded episode.
Yes.
Not including last week's, because that was a technical error.
That's right.
But we'll try and time it for 15 minutes next week.
Exactly. That's right.
Okay.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.
Bye.